Welcome to the new podcast of All That Jazz. And I have with me Jack Forman. And I met him through Sherry Clemens. And you might remember Sherry from episode 3. Anyway, welcome, Jack.
Thank you.
So, Jack, you are an author and you are also, I believe, you have some, because you know Sherry, you have some psychic ability. Is that correct?
Yes. Enough
Yeah.
to get in trouble, yes.
Enough to get in trouble. Okay, let's start with that connection. So how would you originally meet Sherry, or what kind of interest?
I believe it was a common Facebook group that we were going to.
Mm-hmm.
Our comments about different subject matters we saw we answered in similar ways. And next thing we knew, we were communicating about different happenings and whatever, probably beginning with the Schumann resonance, how it
Okay.
energizes me and wipes her out. So, and just different subject matter along that line. Um, of course, she is much further developed and working in and through the metaphysical lines than I'm even attempting to pursue
Right.
at time or may ever. But it's it often say there are no coincidences.
Yeah, I
So
believe that.
yeah, there are none. And so, one thing leads to another. Here it is.
And I believe this is your first podcast.
Yes, it is.
So thank you for joining the show. I know it's
Oh, thanks for having me.
so okay, you mentioned the Schumann resonance. Now, I was not aware of this until I think maybe even a week ago when Sherry on her Facebook, there was some kind of frequencies, and I was like, what is that? And I don't think it was explained to me properly because I was like, I don't know what this is measuring. So can you explain to me and the audience what really is Schumann resonance, really?
Okay. I will give you my best non scientific understanding of what the Schumann resonance is. And there is a big debate, okay? Those with the electromagnetic sciences,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're claiming, oh, all you people in the woo woo community, you're just going around claiming this isn't anything, it isn't anything. Well, if it isn't anything, how can I tell what it's doing before I check it, right? It's energy.
Right.
And life is energy, the concentration and distribution of energy. So the Schumann resonance is displayed from my understanding in northern Russia, maybe even in Siberia, of their instruments,
Mm-hmm.
magnetic instruments, which detect in the atmosphere electromagnetism, okay, in that area. Um, it goes from the white, you see the white lines,
Mm-hmm.
the white lines, the spikes. That's when the frequency is higher. And then, of course, with the green or sometimes even nothing, that's when the frequency is lower. But what it averages out and what the baseline is that Earth's resonance, like
Mm-hmm.
you hit a bell, the resonant frequency is 7.8 hertz.
Okay.
And that's what it detects. And it detects, I believe that's the baseline. So as the white lines indicate, it's going higher than 7.8. And that would indicate what? An influx of more energy.
Wait, but you said you're able to feel this before it happens.
Yes. Or before I go online to check to see what the Schumann resonance is, which I check the website every day, I
Okay.
can tell if it's peaking or if it's lower by the way my energy level feels. Okay.
Wow.
Like today, I'm very energized. And
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I said, okay, it's going to look good today. And then sure enough, it just like these little white spikes, boom, a couple hours later, boom, just little charges going out. I said, man, I'm loving this.
And you said Sherry has the opposite response
Oh, she's
usually.
wiped out. I guarantee you she is wiped out right now. And there have been several people on the Ascension page
Yeah.
complaining, saying, oh my gosh, I feel so bad today. I've got headaches and la, 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 anybody else.
You know what? This reminds me of I don't know if you ever heard of a book, because you're talking about this, it just brought it up to my awareness now. It's a book called Red World, Green World, and it separates people and separates also rocks and food into two different categories.
Oh, really?
One is red. Well, this is just for convenience. So she labeled one red, one green, but she could have used anything else. And
Mm-hmm.
she said most foods are either one or the other, except for exceptions like honey or spirulina or anything like that. But
Right.
most things are either green or red. And then there's also like people are either green or red. So I'm thinking maybe because the polar, so some people are, and even like the poles of the earth, like the north, like if you go in the northern of what do you call the equator, the north
Right.
of the equator is green,
Uh-huh.
and then the south is red.
Okay.
So even the earth is divided. So maybe what's happening is like maybe you guys are, maybe one of you is red and the other is green, so you have the opposite reactions.
Very well could be.
Could be.
Yeah.
That's
And I
crazy.
see that across the board with many people, but I see many more people uh, affected adversely than benefiting from it.
Oh wow, really?
Right. And that's just from the comments and reactions that I see online. But there could be those that are rejoicing in it may not be commenting. So
What's happening now? Apparently there was a few days ago when there was no frequencies. It was just flat.
right.
So
That's
what's happening?
who knows. I mean, the it could have been a glitch with the detectors, right?
Okay.
It could have been a surge of energy that overloaded the detectors. Um, and that happened. There were two windows of it. One was a 2-day window, and I believe a week before there might have been a half-day window when there was no recording of the frequency. So
Right. But that's not usual. That doesn't happen. Like,
that's very unusual. That's the first time I've ever seen it happen.
and you've been following this how long?
Several years.
Okay. Wow. So do you think there is a significance to this?
Yes.
So what is it? Because like the energy, what they're measuring in Siberia is like the energy is coming from emanating from the earth, right? Something like that.
It's in the atmosphere. Okay.
Okay.
It could be from the Earth interacting with the space medium,
Oh, so it
right?
could be the
So
sun. Could be the
could
sun
be
as
the
well.
sun. It
Oh,
could be this magnetic cloud that our solar system's traveling through right now. It could be our magnetosphere is extremely weak at the present moment. So cosmic radiation from the sun and outside our solar system is bombarding us constantly. It's affecting cloud formation,
mm-hmm.
clouds. Um, have you noticed an increase in the violence of the lightning in various places?
Um, Not really, but it when I was living in Scotland, there was no thunder there, but here there was. So there was quite a bit of rain between I would say between June, July, and a part of August was a lot of rain, which was
Mm-hmm.
because I grew up in Slovenia and there wasn't, I don't recall there being so much rain. So there's definitely a change in weather.
Yes.
So is that Is that what I've read? Like that the polarities of the Earth are changing? Is that happening?
Yes.
Okay.
The North Pole, magnetic North Pole, is almost in Siberia now, and the magnetic South Pole is approaching the Indian Ocean.
Why is he doing that?
There are those who are now that this gets involved, but there are those who are anticipating a magnetic flip of our poles, and there is geological as well as ice core evidence that it has happened many times before.
Wow.
Yeah, recurrent cycle. And there are several things that can contribute to it. One being our sun with flares and micronovas can cause the poles, magnetic poles, to move around and whatever. I was just watching this morning a show with Randall Carlson. Are you familiar with him?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He is not a mainstream academic. Okay. He's just a brilliant man who has decided to investigate these things. And one thing he is really interested in is the magnetism and the Younger Dryas boundary at the end of, well, I wrote that down, so Pleistocene era. When the
What is that? What is that?
that's when the mammoths, giant sloths, giant camels, horses were all over North America, and all of a sudden they're gone. Okay,
Right.
so what caused that? And so he is doing just extensive geological research and has come upon, oh, wait a minute, it looks like a comet hit the ice shelf. Several comets hit the ice shelf, melted the ice. Huge cascades of water went across North America and washed everything away.
Wow.
And there's evidence for that. Well, at the same time, well, not at the same time, but there's I believe it's Boston University professor, Robert Schoch. He has come up with, said, well, that's all well and good, but that's not enough energy to melt the ice shelves. He said, I've got evidence when he was investigating the Giza Plateau in Egypt that there was a huge coronal mass ejection and or micronova from the sun.
Oh, wow.
It disrupted the Earth's magnetic field and may have actually caused a polar, well, not a polar, but a pole reversal.
Right. So there's different theories about how this, if this was caused or if this is a natural phenomenon of the Earth.
It is a natural phenomenon.
Okay. Okay.
Occurred many times, and it's also been documented by our ancestors in the book of Jeremiah. The day lasted longer, right? So when
Okay, but that could be
motors, direct current motors,
that could be like the the natural
rotation of the Earth, right? Okay.
Of the Earth.
So if you have a DC motor,
Mm-hmm.
you reverse the polarity,
You go the other way.
it slows down and turns the other way.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, and many cultures have in their writings where a night lasted for 20 hours. Or just like Jeremiah, he said, keep the sun up so we can finish this battle. Well, the sun stayed up. Now, it was written to, bolster what he was saying, but still it happened. People saw that happen, actually.
And this was not like in Norway up, this was like in center of the earth. Like it wasn't like, because some of these places like Alaska, because they're so far north. So
Right,
in
right.
June, the day
That was in the
lasts.
Middle East. Jeremiah was in the Middle East, right?
Right, right, right. Wow.
So,
Yeah,
mhm,
they're pretty even there with day and night.
right. So it's there are many accounts in our past history, and a lot of indications of polar reversal on our horizon even now. So, what would
So,
that mean?
but it's never happened in modern times, so we don't know
Not
what's gonna
modern times,
happen.
no.
So we don't know what's gonna happen or how long it's gonna take.
No, isn't that interesting?
Oh, that's
It's
crazy.
kind of, you know, yeah.
The,
So
it could be that then the compass will the south the south actually be north,
exactly, yeah. They point different directions.
or maybe it's pointing already now because it's starting to change. So maybe it's already not accurate slightly.
Yeah, depending on where you're standing. Yeah,
Right. That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, and the South Atlantic anomaly, even now, between South America and Africa,
Uh-huh.
there have been many commercial airliners disappear because instruments said, "Nah, we're not going to work anymore."
Is that kind of like a Bermuda Triangle? What do you know about that? I've always been kind of fascinated about like planes disappear and all that. Like seems like a
Right,
dumping ground. Just go there and disappear.
exactly. I don't want to go there and research it. Uh, I might get a bowl of popcorn and sit back and watch a movie by someone who's done the research for me.
Right. Let's just send David Blaine there to like make magic, and then he'll disappear for real.
Right. I don't know about it. It could be. There could be a flying disc come out of the water, open up a door, and everybody go in it, and they go get a hamburger somewhere. I don't know, but
Okay, so talking about flying discs, what do you think about aliens? This is a interesting topic about like some people believe in aliens, some people are like, oh, this is totally not possible, I myself I don't really believe for the sake of believing that there's aliens because I've never seen anything. I do have a good friend that has seen something, and I believe that he wouldn't lie about it.
mhm,
But I have a feeling that a lot of the aliens, or most of them, are like not in the physical domain. They may be in the astral domain, and you're seeing some kind of weird, almost like a ghost, but appears physical, but it's
mhm.
actually not. So I don't
Right,
know.
like
I don't know.
it's behind a curtain.
Like like people see ghosts and stuff. I've had guests on my show that say they've seen a person, but nobody else saw a person.
Uh,
I believe that's possible, but
mhm.
it's not actually in this domain. You
Right.
see,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think about aliens and all that? I'm curious about your perspective.
Um, the short and simple answer is yes.
Okay.
Okay. Um, how they present in another way, like again, the vibrational presentation,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see the shadow on occasion, like looking on the other side of a curtain,
Mm-hmm.
see the outline, or the other side of the veil. Okay. I believe that's when our vibration is close to being the vibration they exist in. Is that they lowered theirs down where they could interact with us?
What do you mean the other side of
Our
the
veil.
veil?
The veil being distance that exists between vibrating at this frequency and this frequency.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. This one has to slow down. This one has to speed up before there can be an interaction.
Right.
Now, as far as a silver disc landing and a bunch of lizards rolling out with death ray, Uh, no, I don't
You don't
know.
think so?
I'm not going to discount it out because anything's possible, right? But to think about, in our galaxy alone, a trillion stars with planets. I mean, it just, I don't know. That just seems like it borders on logical absurdity to say it's not possible.
I mean, the distances though, that just boggles
Well,
my mind, the big distances in space. But then you could
right,
say maybe because maybe they have superior technology and they've been alive for millions of the years more, and there are
right,
superior species of something.
right.
So
So the camel driver on the Silk Highway going from China with Marco Polo to Italy could never have imagined a high speed rail, could they?
right.
Say, oh, it'd be impossible to go the distance of the Silk Road in a day. That's months. See, so it's all relative. And the relative, well, even Einstein called it relativity, didn't
Right, right,
he?
right.
So, yeah, I we can set limitations by saying, well, there's the speed of light. No, well, what if it doesn't have anything to do with that? What if somewhere between the vibrational, there's a seam to get into where you can move instantaneously?
Wow, that sounds like science fiction already,
Right.
like a movie. You ever seen Interstellar?
Yes.
That was a great movie. I saw it when I
Yeah.
saw it the first time, I was like blown away. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I usually don't like that director, but man, that movie is like that is something else.
He was spotting on something. And but again, especially at the end, it all became relative, didn't it? You know, his daughter was older than dirt. He was still what 30s, and he was going to jump in a ranger ship and go through the black hole to meet with what was her name, Bran, the chick that was on that.
Good memory. I totally forgot
Yeah.
all the characters' names. That's a very good
So
memory.
it's just yeah, just because you can't figure it out doesn't mean it's not possible yet, I guess.
Do you think the recent I've heard some rumblings somewhere that they're declassifying some alien information in the higher like government levels in the US recently, or they gonna do it soon or something.
Right.
So what is your opinion on that? Does it seem like they're preparing people to meet some kind of aliens, or
Oh,
is that just a wild conspiracy?
it's just the one, okay, let me get this straight in my mind so I don't misspeak. Okay. Allegedly, there was this individual who was the head of the ATEP program, which was to monitor our airspace for those making interlopes into it. Okay.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, he decided to turn Boy Scout and say, I've got to share this with the world. Okay, let's take a step back. To start with, he was a Central Intelligence Agency counterintelligence officer. Their job is to lie.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Their job is to lie.
Yes.
Why?
Second of all,
Okay, let's go back.
okay. Second of all, says, I don't care if they kill me or not. Well, yeah, you do. And so, but the video footage that's being released, they're calling it gunsight video from a F-18 fighter plane of the UFO,
Mm-hmm.
was released on YouTube in 2004. Okay.
Right.
So nothing new under that sun. Um,
Wait, wait. Are you sure 2004? Because
Yeah, I
I think
saw it.
YouTube started later than 2000.
No, there was something on the internet. Okay,
Okay, okay. Yep,
okay,
got it.
on the internet in 2004.
Right, right, right.
All right, so I don't, I take that disclosure with a grain of salt because of the way the production value is, how it's staged. Those I'm talking about this show. What is it called? Some kind of disclosure. But 4 of the 5 characters are CIA operative.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the 5th one worked at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, which is Central Intelligence Agency. So
Right.
yeah, I'll take that as a grain of salt. What, if anything, that gives me hope is this Space Force, which might be a route to a soft disclosure for the secret space program that has existed since 1950s, allegedly by many.
Right.
To say, oh yeah, here's an example of what we have built in the Space Force in the last 8 months. Ta-da.
You think
I
it's
don't
alien
know.
technology that they're stealing
Yeah,
somehow?
maybe.
Maybe.
Clever. We're
Why,
fairly clever.
why do you say that the job of the CIA or some of the people in the CIA is to lie?
They're counterintelligence. Don't
Okay, well, if they're spies, yeah, but like
right.
dealing with the public, let's say, are they still are they not like because they are obviously a government agency, so
Right.
federal agency, so they're supposed to serve the people, right?
Yes. Yes. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. How'd
Yeah.
I forget that?
You remember back in 2010 when Obama was starting to do the Obamacare, and
Uh-huh.
then people rebelled, and there was a I still remember the clip, and there was a guy yelling at the politician, and he's like, "We don't work for you. You work for us." He was like pointing fingers and all that. You work for
Uh-huh.
us, and that stuck with me because it's like ideally the government should be because they paid by the taxpayers, so they should be servant of the people, as it were.
Right.
But it seems like, in my experience, at least what I've read economically, that agencies, federal agencies, have their own incentives, and
Yes.
so as they grow bigger, the bigger the incentives are. Incentives meaning that they are pulled in a different direction. Like let's say the labor department wouldn't be interested in disproving the minimum wage, the negative effects, because that would take away their money. So why
Right.
would they disprove something that would take away their money? So you,
Right.
you don't do that.
You don't do that. And don't
So
ever forget, cops have guns.
okay, what are you implying here?
Okay, you're familiar with the demonstrations that have been going on lately.
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
some videos.
Yeah. They have pepper spray, they have concussion explosive devices, and they have guns. And peaceful protests have been turned into riots because they have expended those tools onto the peaceful protesters. It's
Um, I don't
it's
know.
kind of scary. I'm also a child of the '70s, and I
Right.
remember the Kent State University here in Ohio. There was a Vietnam War protest there, and the Ohio National Guard killed 4 of them, shot them.
Killed
Four.
who? Four protesters.
Mm-hmm.
And what were the protesters doing?
Marching, protesting the Vietnam War, stop the war.
Hmm.
bang, 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 disperse. So,
Right.
yeah, it gets crazy, and that's a deep, dark rabbit hole to go down because speculation can get you nowhere. Actually,
Yeah. Well, and there's one thing like ascribing negative motive. And also we were not there, so especially like in a world pre like web cameras, not web cameras, but smartphones,
phones,
everybody had.
right?
Yeah, but back then there was like, if you didn't see it, you didn't even know if it really happened.
Exactly. Right. What is the Triple X says in the movie? If it ain't on film, it didn't happen.
Is that it? Have been Diesel?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. If it ain't on film, it didn't happen. Little history on the Central Intelligence Agency,
All right.
UFO connection. They are intertwined from the very beginning. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
During the latter years of the Truman administration, and this has been photographed, it was witnessed by tens of thousands of people, a formation of lights, unidentified flying objects flew over the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Air Force interceptors were sent to intercept them. They accelerated and were gone. This happened more than once. Wasn't long after that, then there was the crash in Roswell, New Mexico. Harry Truman created what was it called? Majestic 12 of scientists and generals and admirals to keep this UFO phenomenon under control. That's what it was called.
Okay.
Okay. There's pictures of them in the Washington Post flying in formation over the Capitol Dome.
Right, in the 50s.
Yeah, in the 50s.
Mm.
Uh, they said, well, thank you very much, Mr. President. They got their budget and they went black. So ever since then, there's been very little accountability, minimal oversight, if any. Okay. Um, one of the original Majestic 12, General Forrestal, said, this ain't right. We got to stop this. They said, well, you look like you're a little nervous. We're going to take you to Bethesda Naval Hospital to the top floor, and I'll be damned if he didn't jump.
What?
Okay.
What? They threw him off.
They threw him off. Okay.
Why?
Because he was going to come clean on it, everything. He said, no, this isn't right. We can't keep this secret. And they said, yeah, we can. So, yeah. So ever since then, it's been highly suspicious, black budget.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going into a subject now that's still big to this day, and
It's too
Trump
huge for my
Trump
little
has
mind.
Trump has started in this phenomena and illuminating it by talking about it, or at
Mm-hmm.
least some people around him in the media talking about it. Not all.
Right.
The deep state, the idea that
Oh,
the like we said before, that the bureaucrats in the government have their own incentives, have their own agendas, and we saw that 3 years they tried to get Trump out of the office. The deep state plus the media ganged up, and they still were not able to. So is he being effective now, Trump, by his he just keeps going. He's like the
Energizer
poster
Bunny.
child of sorry?
He's like the Energizer Bunny. He just
Yes.
keeps going. Uh,
Power of positive thinking, my man.
it's amazing. Yeah.
That's a good book, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Um, wow, there is so much in flux with all of that right now. It's hard to, well, it's difficult to look into a crystal ball and see what might be next. It truly is. Um, just like, okay, for every, if you sit and think about what's happened, like say, since this, some call it pandemic, some call it plandemic.
Right. The
COVID.
coronavirus. Yeah.
Okay, the coronavirus. You know, and I've had so many WTF moments sitting back. Where did all the toilet paper go?
Yeah.
First thing, you couldn't buy toilet paper. What the hell? And then all of a sudden there's shortages on all these. I said, no, our population did not triple overnight. There's no scarcity of commodities. Where did it all go?
Do you think it was
Where is it?
intentional? Do you think the toilet paper, at least, because that's a simple thing, do you think that was intentional?
Where'd it go?
Hmm. I,
Okay. So is there, it's just like North America is riddled with tunnels. Okay. Tunnels everywhere. We love digging tunnels. We love digging mines. We love digging tunnels, just to be digging tunnels. And as part of the civil defense plan, many tunnels were dug on purpose during the height of the Cold War in the 60s. And I was wondering, you know, you get to thinking, well, they're shutting down solar observing telescopes here in North America. They're being shut down left and right.
why?
Exactly. And then the toilet paper's disappearing. Are the tunnels being stocked for the coming of a solar event?
Well,
The
speculation.
signs are big. The 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 spots are coming back. It's flaring like crazy. You notice satellite disruption almost daily now, where there'll be where the one there used to not be. Oh, you can tell if the TV or the internet acts up. Well, that's solar flare taking place. But kind of going along those lines, so many true commodities, which were so common to have. And we're to the point now where everyone has bought all they can possibly afford. Okay. If they were buying it and putting it under their couch, and it's still shortages. Where's it going? Where's it going? This is the United States. We have surplus, not shortage. Okay. Where is everything going?
What kind of shortages do you have now? Because I think toilet paper should be back to normal, or isn't it?
Oh no, there's still spot shortages. Paper
Really?
towels, uh, canned meats,
Hmm.
pastas, jarred pasta sauces, coffee. Oh my goodness, coffee. There'll be shortages every now and we go to the grocery. If we see our brand of coffee, we'll get 4 or 5 cans because sure enough, you go back the next day, it's gone. Okay.
Maybe
This is
because
not,
people are doing that. Maybe people are taking more than they used to, and that's why, boom,
well, you
I
know,
don't know.
later you're not going to be able to close your door. Where's it all going? So maybe it's going down into a tunnel for storage to be used later when, you know, it's time to go underground, peeps. Till it passes.
Do you think Trump is aware that there is an event coming, or either aliens or something else? Do you think? I don't believe myself that there are gonna be aliens coming, but I think there is
Right.
something changing in the world fundamentally, and I don't know what. You know.
It's changing. It's changing energetically. That's how I feel it.
Hmm.
It's not to a point where there can be prophetic insights. Okay. But there's definitely a change energetically.
You're
Um,
talking about the event that you were talking about.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, just like times I'll be out riding my bicycle and the, the sun is so much stronger now than it used to be. Just almost uncomfortable. And this is during the morning hours. Okay.
Right.
Really strong. Um, in fact, on my neck, one day, a couple weeks ago, I was wearing a SPF 30 shirt. I got a sunburn through the shirt on my back. What the hell? Yeah. Um, yeah. So there's a lot going on. The especially the South Atlantic anomaly with the what's it called, magnetosphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's weakening. It went through a mitosis once, where it actually crimped off and pulled apart, and then went back together.
Really?
Yeah,
So it stopped altogether and then it came back.
yeah,
Just like the resonance we're talking about earlier, the Schumann
right.
resonance.
Pay attention to the length of days and the time it gets daylight in the morning. Sometimes it'll be later. It'll seem like it's later. If you look out a window, you can tell. Oh, wait a minute! It was bright daylight yesterday, and it's not today. Then the next day it will be. Okay, there's hesitations in the rotation,
Hmm.
or speeding up, or slowing down. All those little subtle things.
I just assumed it was like the change of the seasons and all that. You just
Well, that's the axial tilt,
right.
linear rotation. It's fun. It's fun to watch. Um, like I'm saying, I'm an old man, so I don't really worry about it too much.
Okay, I want to talk about what do you anticipate happening with the event or after the event? I think that's one of your things you're into.
Okay. Well, I kind of expressed that in this series of books I've been writing.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about it so much and I've researched it so much that I had to just get it out. Okay. Um, I see the event as being a series of solar flares. Okay. They'll start subtly. And as with anything else, they'll want to pay them much mind until the one comes down and starts taking out the grids. Okay.
Wow.
And there'll probably be a series of 10 to 15 of them that will take out satellites will come crashing down. There'll be the electrical grid will be gone. You know, police will come by and they'll say, be at the bus stop 9 in the morning if you want to evacuate to the relief center. No firearms, bring minimal stuff with you. And this will go over a period of about 2 months. And then the big one comes. That'll be the one that's the micronova, and it'll literally set things on fire. It'll set buildings on fire.
I was not expecting that image. I was expecting the consciousness level is gonna rise slowly.
The conscious level will be rising, but it'll happen real
in a fire.
Right.
You know that Johnny Cash song, "The Ring of Fire"? You gonna
Yeah.
like that?
I truly believe that most of humanity will perish in it.
What? Well, okay. Wow, this is okay. This is a lot. So you think this is gonna happen within the next few years, or
Couple decades, yeah.
okay, like you said, 2030, the 2035,
36.
36,
35,
right?
36.
Right. Okay.
I'm not going to put that on paper because it's just like, what are you talking about? And then next thing you know, you're discussing the controversy and not the facts. So
Right.
yeah, we've become a society that bickers about what's controversial, picking a side and throwing rocks at each other instead of the core cause. Okay.
Right. Well, okay. Talking about that, what do you think is Trump's role right now, and how is he maybe accelerating the conscious level, or what exactly do you think is his role?
His role is how it's being played out through my eyes. That's what I'm observing. I'm not saying it's his intention.
Mm.
Okay. But I see him as a catalyst to shine lights on what needs to be exposed, to shine lights on the basest and the most contentious parts of humanity. Okay.
Like you're talking about the pedophilia rings and
Yes,
okay,
that's happening. They're being rounded up. Would they be rounded up if Donald Trump wasn't there? Don't know, but they're being rounded up. Okay.
that's good.
And the it's happening painfully slow,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
seems to me a
and
lot of these people have money. They have a lot of money, so
right,
it's
and it's happening so slow that it'd be difficult to say it's happening beyond the uh, umbrella of an attorney general and the state police. Like there's no real central organic thrust out. Now, that may not be possible, right? Because the bigger the organism, the easier it is to penetrate it.
mm,
So that would be a tactical disadvantage. I'm glad to see it is happening. Um, that's the fact of what I see happening, right? I'm not going to stand back and say Tom Hanks calls for pizza and gets kid brought to him. I ain't going there.
oh well,
But
wait. So you don't think Tom Hanks is involved in this? Do you think Tom Hanks is just yeah, I find it
to me
hard to
right now
believe.
that's still within the realm of mental masturbation. There's nothing can come of that. All right, that would just be an old man sitting back pointing his finger at somebody.
Right.
Easy. Let's get the cops out there and start rounding these people up with these kids. And it just seems like daily I see, well, 30 or 40 more kids were found. Fantastic. Get more. Let's go get more. Let's go get more. And even in Canada, it's happening
Oh, of course, everywhere. Pretty much.
everywhere. It's everywhere. So, yeah, that's it may be a trap. It may not, all this stuff you see about all these people in Hollywood elites, if there is such a thing, being behind it. Don't know if they're
Right.
arrested, brought in and convicted. Um, I'd like to pull the rope on them myself, but until they are, I'm not going
Well,
to.
we don't know. The problem
We
is
don't
with
know, and
these
I don't think I
countries,
wouldn't
we don't.
appreciate anybody saying that about me,
Right,
right?
right.
So I'm not going to say it about them.
Well, the problem now also with technology, I'm conscious of this, that you can fake, like you could back in the day, you could start faking UFOs and all that, but now you can start faking voice. Like somebody, they have technology where they can take my voice or your voice and they make it say anything they want to say, and that
Exactly.
is troubling. How you gonna separate what's genuine and what's not? And that seems to be scary. Like look,
Exactly.
going into the future, like how are you gonna separate? You
Exactly.
know? Um, okay, you mentioned before that something about Trump's uncle, and I was
Oh yeah.
curious about that. I don't know if that's a conspiracy, but you go on and share what happened.
No, he actually was when Nikola Tesla died. And then we get to the conspiracy theory. He had two knives in his back. I don't believe that necessarily. But when he died in his apartment, he had a safe. And in his safe, he had his writings and diagrams and theories. And Donald Trump's uncle was the one that emptied the safe and took the information back to MIT.
Okay, if that was true, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe.
It could be.
Could.
Uh, the Trumps, they're they're a fairly astute family. I mean, what his niece is a psychiatrist, right?
Is that the one that wrote
Book.
the anti-Trump
Yeah.
book recently?
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah. So they're all over the place. But he certainly was. He was his uncle was the one who took the documents out of the safe. And oh, this is cool. And wherever he took them, yeah, that's documented.
So you think the government is hiding the infinite energy secrets hidden away
Oh,
somewhere?
government wouldn't hide nothing from us. They're by the people and for the people.
Well, you know,
If 0 point energy existed, we'd have it, wouldn't we? I mean, Gulf Oil has nothing to say about how we propel our machinery. Or no, yeah, it exists and it's being held from us. It's being utilized by. Well, okay. Here's the scenario. It's being utilized by the ships in the secret space force.
what in the chips in the secrets?
Yeah, the ships, the vessels in the secret space force.
That Trump announced like
Yeah,
months
that's
ago.
the legitimate space force.
Okay.
But the one that was created in the 50s.
So we don't know this is true. This
we
is
don't.
okay. All right.
We don't know.
I talk about so I want to set up for the audience your background because we haven't talked about that. So what's your religious background?
Religious background. Well, starting now, I consider myself religiously to be awake.
Awake. Okay.
Awake. A spiritual entity that's driving a meat sack with a superstructure made of stardust. That's who I am and what I am right now. In the past, kind of was herded through by family and parents and whatever through the Methodist church. And then after I married, I kind of went from the NFL to the AFC to the Baptist. And
which one is better? Which one is better to play in?
Oh, to play in. It depends on your level of consciousness.
Right. Okay.
Your level of consciousness would be the Methodist because it's more of a standardized doctrine. They don't make it up on the fly, as I saw with a lot of the experiences in the Baptist, where some of the interpretations I just said, "Oh, and so yeah, it's a lot of it, if not most of it's lost its way, though. We had a president, Thomas Jefferson. His personal Bible was nothing but the words in red. Like you said, yeah.
That's what Jesus said. That's it.
That's all was in his Bible. Said the rest of it was commentary.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. His personal Bible was the words in red. Nothing but.
Talk about the 300-year rule that you have for sharing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it'll matter 300 years from now, go after it. If it won't, don't worry about it.
I mean, like in general, like what we're saying on the podcast, or your general rule in life about what to pursue, let's say.
Okay. What to pursue is subjective at the moment, right?
Sure.
But what we're saying at the podcast will matter 300 years from now. There may not be the electromagnetic devices left to talk about it. They may have to be reinvented, unless I hope someone is putting them in a super shielded container deep in a vault somewhere.
Whoa, you think everything's gonna burn up? Like literally everything's gonna burn up.
The electromagnetic pulse will take everything electronic down and out.
Wow. Well, and is this you're projecting this in 16 years that this
Yeah,
is gonna happen?
yeah. I know how to use this.
Yeah,
I don't know how to build one.
right. There
Right?
are people that know how to build one though. So if they survive, they'll
Yes,
be
they are.
good. If they survive,
Yes.
we'll be good.
If they survive, and if the if the blueprints and the shoot, that's not made by human hands. That's a robot builds that phone.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but people know how to build a factory again, and
Exactly.
it's the
Yeah.
knowledge. If you lose
Right.
the knowledge, if you lose first is the books, and then it's the minds. Because if you
Right.
lose the books, even if you have the minds, people are able to, because what they have in the mind, they're able to get back to work and recreate what we had before. It just takes some time.
Uh-huh. That was the tragedy of the Mayan culture is that uh the bishops with the conquistadors, they burned the codexes.
Hmm.
They burnt their written history, built a bonfire and threw it on there.
Why?
Exactly. Like that. Well, just what did the water boy's mother say? It's the devil.
Oh,
So
so they became convinced that storing the knowledge was the devil, so they got rid of it.
yeah, well, they couldn't understand what they were looking at anyway. So and they were there to evangelize those who have not died of syphilis and smallpox, as they followed on.
You mean
So,
people that came after? Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, they came after the conquistadors, and they took measles and smallpox and their little crotch critters with them. And after they did that, of course, the church followed on, and whoever was left, they burnt their writings.
Hmm.
The genocide of North America is terrible, absolutely terrible. We have
Well, some of it was intentional, and some of it was, I think, diseases that
diseases were
yeah.
incidental, I'm sure. They didn't know about the diseases themselves, except they were running from the plague, right?
Right. Right. Uh,
The Justinian was the last one they were running from.
so, do you think the coronavirus is actually helping people, despite the protests and all that, is helping people to wake up faster in a way, to speeding
Yeah,
up?
because after they stop and take their breath, they're going to say, "What the hell am I protesting? What am I protesting? Why am I protesting? What is this? Who told me to protest? Why did I think like that?" That's part of the awakening process, is challenging yourself as to why, not the guy sitting next to you or across from you, but yourself personally. And as you go through that awakening, yeah, it will it'll help. As far as the mass awakening, that's yet to come. I'm sure.
Right.
And
Have
it may be
you
on the heels.
have you heard of Alice Bailey's work? She predicts in multiple books, and the year is 2025. There's gonna be some change in the uh, like I was reading Glamour, a world problem, and she was saying that the energy of glamour is going to change after 2025. And
Mm,
incidentally, 2025 would be the year that if Trump gets reelected, which I think he will in 4 years, that's when he would get out in January
mm-hmm.
2025. And that's a long year in politics. 4 years is like, I don't know,
Mm.
60 years in politics. That's a long time in
That'd be
socialism.
3 administrations. Well, yeah, 2025 would be the year, January 21st, 2025.
Yeah.
And what's her
Uh,
proposal?
Theopathy is her. Oh, she's saying that but it's not just her. She was getting guidance for the from above somewhere. The
Right.
White Brotherhood, I think she called it, and
Uh-huh.
they were telling her that multiple books, like I researched their website, and it comes up again and again, 2025, that something's going to happen, and that's going to be like a breakthrough in consciousness in a way in 2025.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the theosophy. All right, now let me switch gears here. Are you familiar with a what we're doing here? The show is called The Dark Journalist. I
No.
cannot think of his name for my life. He delves deep into the mystery schools
Mm-hmm.
and the theosophy and Edgar Casey, the prophets,
Right.
the modern prophets. And I have heard mentioned 2025 several times, and I'm trying to go through my old brain to see what was the crux of that. But yes, I have. That would be a time of, I believe it might have been an Edgar Casey um, about Atlantis rising, perhaps.
Hmm.
2025. I don't know. If I go any further, I'll embarrass myself.
Okay. Yeah, this is did not go today as expected, because I thought the event that you're gonna talk about is gonna be a magical, like slowly, progressing. But what I'm hearing from you is, flares from the sun, everybody taking cover, fire, most people dying. That sounds horrible. I hope, for our sake, that this is not going to happen.
It's happened before.
When?
It happens it's cyclical, and about every 3,600 years, a great cataclysm does take place. And that has been um, reaffirmed through geological, ancient texts, ancient writings, even ice core samples showing the dust levels from mass burnings and whatever. The
But the way I'm skeptical of this is because I remember in 2011, there was a pastor of some small church. He was saying in May that the world is going to end. And of course, that day came and went and nothing happened and all. Because a lot of these predictions are, I don't know, but you're not saying the world is going to end. You're saying
no,
basically that it's going to hold higher consciousness, but a lot of people will
yes,
die.
the bullshit's going to end.
Hmm.
All right, there's the people die every day. Okay, and there's really no death, you know,
Right, spiritually speaking.
another
Okay.
form.
Right.
Spiritually speaking, you don't disappear. Um, but logically, it kind of makes sense to have a purge.
Ooh, that's a horror movie, by the way, The Purge.
Oh, the purge, is it? um, and those who would be affected the most would be those who would not have the consciousness to say, "Oh, I got to prepare for this." Correct?
Mhm. Right.
I've got to do something to kind of make ready a little bit. I'm not saying stockpile a bunch of weapons in a hole in the ground with cans of Viennese sausages and crackers, but to be mindful of what's going on around you.
I talked with somebody off record just recently, and they told me that, because they seem to be in tune with this as well, and they told me that they think that the event is going to be this year in December.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens, eh?
1859, the Carrington event, the last solar event that was actually measured by modern humans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1859, the solar flare set telegraph wires on fire, exploded batteries in telegraph offices. Several telegraph operators died as an invention, as a result of that influx of energy into our magnetosphere, which sent bands of energy into the ground. Okay? Now, if that sent telegraph wires on fire, what would it do to our satellites? What would it do to our electrical grid? Which is, there was a flare just a few years ago that took out most of Quebec, right?
Really?
Wherefore, yeah,
Like electrical wire, just like
took out a substation, overcharged
okay,
it, and boom, out went the lights.
right.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man, that
yeah.
sucks.
So it's not that far fetched. So maybe there's something like that in December.
So I see what you're saying, that the magnetic uh, shield atmosphere is getting weaker. That's why you're
Yes,
feeling it by the sun burning you more. And so
yes,
then, if at this same moment the flares, when the defenses are down and the flares come, they're gonna be even stronger. Oh, I see what you're saying.
yes.
That does not look or sound good, actually.
No, it doesn't, does it? But yeah, the electromagnetic pulse. That's what it turns out to be. So,
All right. I want to finish on something more positive.
yes, please.
So um, given that you're into healing as well, are you into Reiki or anything, any kind of healing modality?
Yes,
Okay. And how did you find being like a bit? Is it fair to say that you're psychic or have some psychic ability?
yes. Well, okay. Empathic, intuitive empath.
Okay.
I can't be lied to.
You can't be lied to. Like
No,
you will tell right away. You're like, nah.
right away.
Okay.
Right away.
Um, So with Reiki, what did you find? Like, did it help you, or did you help other people with it?
I've helped other people. Absolutely. My partner, she had knee problems. She had to wear a brace all the time. A matter of 2 weeks of just holding Reiki on her knee. She hadn't wore a brace in 2 years.
Wow.
Had large varicose vein hematoma on my thigh. It's gone. Of course, it took about 6 weeks, but it's gone without surgery.
Right. 6 weeks of working on it every day.
Yes,
Hmm.
just a matter of just sitting there watching TV, cupping my hand over it, and then it was gone. So the thing with Reiki, and I tell everybody, it's not from me, it's through me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the energy enters through my crown chakra, goes to the heart chakra and the solar plexus, and then distributes out through the hands. And then there it's introduced to the astral body,
Mm-hmm.
person receiving it. And then it's up to their body to send it wherever they want it, or wherever it's needed, the intelligence of their body. And it works.
Amazing. Do you have I've had some experience with Reiki, so I do like Reiki, and
Oh,
I've
cool.
sometimes fallen asleep. Just yeah, it feels good.
Yeah.
Especially with, I don't know how to do Reiki because I would never train in it, but yeah, just like it seems so amazing. I become like almost like a sponge, and just like, oh yeah,
Right.
this is good.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. I can literally feel her drawing the energy. I
yeah.
call it drawing. And then I know to move to the next position when the drawing stops.
Yeah, that's how it was described to me. They were like,
Yeah.
I don't move until I feel like it's kind of complete, or
Right.
until it
Yeah.
stops really drawing like hard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It says she always feels heat and occasionally
Yeah, when you do it. Yeah.
electric electric shocks sometimes. And yeah, it's kind of cool.
So Do you have any good parting thoughts? What you see, what you seeing right now with? Okay, let me preface this. The protests and all this. Do you think it's because the way I see it is that is all the education that was bad, meaning the critical theory and all the culture of Marxism stuff, is all coming to the surface now, very overtly, because they are
Mm-hmm.
going to restaurants. They're screaming into people, "Black Lives Matter," while people are eating and they've not done nothing wrong, presumably, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so, do you think this is good in a way because it's just like all the bad stuff that society's been putting up with is now coming to the forefront?
Yes. And I also take that with the knowledge that those are isolated incidents. Um, the majority of those who are, say, for lack of a better term, white lives matter,
Mm-hmm.
don't carry Confederate flags to a protest. They don't carry AR-15s across their chest, and they don't storm the courthouse saying, "I shouldn't have to wear a mask." Okay. The majority of the Black Lives Matter, for whatever reason they're hitched to that, don't behave in the same way. That being said, the chance for an expansion from this is to get away from the myopic view of looking away from the meat sack and not identifying as that. Now, when that happens, we'll be on the road to success, right? Um, if it doesn't happen, we're going to be mired right where we are for a long time.
Right, Civil War.
Yeah. Nah, it won't. Not like
Nah, it's not gonna.
it wouldn't last 20 minutes.
The
Yeah.
military comes in, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I, wow. It's almost like, okay, it's like an ill. It is. It's a societal illness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you have to do with any illness, your body, society body, has to run a fever, right?
Right.
So we're at the fever pitch right now.
Okay.
And then the fever breaks. You sit around, you're sweaty, you stink, take a shower, you get cleaned off, say, okay, let's talk about this. But it just seems like the fever of the emotion has to be let out first.
Right.
For some reason.
We're not at the shower yet. Maybe.
We're not to the shower. We haven't broke the fever yet. The fever's going to go up a few more degrees, I'm afraid.
Yes, that's what I keep saying. Actually, I agree. I have this sense that things are going to get worse before it gets better.
Absolutely.
And
Every day.
initially, when Trump got elected, I thought this signified the beginning of the end of political correctness and all the other manifestations that we're now seeing. It's gotten worse, actually, but that is good because,
Rooting it
like you
out,
said,
right?
yeah, the temperature's going out, and
Mm-hmm.
it might get worse for probably a year or two,
Right.
or maybe till 2025. Who knows?
Or the 2036, who knows?
Right.
Just like, I just know, my spidey sense tells me if I'm riding my bicycle and I see a crowd up ahead of me and they're shouting, I turn around and go back to the way I came, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's not worth it.
Just
Like,
it's not worth it.
yeah, I saw recently a video of a guy that went. There was like people at the gas station standing, and they didn't let him pass. And if that happened, I'll just like turn around.
Turn around and leave.
But
That's not a hill you want to die on.
he went there and still had put gas in his car. And meanwhile, the some people from the crowd approach him and they have an argument with him. And man, it's not worth it. These people,
It's not worth it.
you can't reason with unreasonable people.
Nope.
That's it.
and they are in an unreasonable state of mind,
Yeah,
you
that's.
don't know.
Do you know Thomas Sowell, the
Excuse
economist?
me?
Thomas Sowell.
Yes.
Yeah, he has this great quote that his best New Year's resolution was to stop trying to reason with unreasonable people.
Right. Can't do it.
Can't do it. That's it.
Yeah. First of all, you got to realize if doing an evaluation, is this person capable of interacting with me to start with? Okay. Can they understand what I have to say? And if not, don't interact with them. Don't become engaged. Just drop a seed and go on.
Drop a seed.
You
Yeah,
know,
right.
you know, and yeah, let it work. It'll play out. It has before, and it'll play out again. And as far as any grand scheme of, this ideology or this ideology or this ideology, it's like with any other movement, it's soon enough taken over by grifters who find a way to turn $1 off of it, and soon enough they'll pass into obscurity, and we'll be upset about other things like what kind of seed do we put in our bird feeders or whatever. So, you know,
Right, right.
we
Yeah.
are a contentious bunch.
The people that start the movement are different than people that, if they gain power, then there's different kinds of people. They're,
Exactly.
yeah.
Those that are burning the buildings are not the ones that started this. It truly aren't. It's just an opportunity to go out and, hey, let's go burn a building. Oh, okay. Well, wait, where we're going? Well, see that crowd over there? Yeah, let's go in behind them.
Um, that reminds me of that guy that shot, looks like in self-defense, 3 people, and but it turns out those 3 people, I think, all had records. They were all like, one was pedophile, one was something else, and I was like,
Yeah,
kind of makes sense. Like, those people would be attracted to this kind of event. They're like,
exactly.
let's go and try something.
Let's go and try something. So you just never know. That's for myself. I'm going to stay away from stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Me too. I try. A protest is a dangerous thing. I try not to go there.
yeah, especially in this environment as emotionally charged as it is.
Yeah.
There's it, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, on this note, we're gonna end our broadcast here. I want to thank you
Okay.
very much, Jack Forman, for being on my podcast and giving
Thank you
more
for
than an
having me.
hour of your time to be here. Yeah, and thank you everybody for watching and listening. Thank you for being on the
Thank you.
show. Thank you.
Thank you. Be well.